Hey guys, welcome to the second episode, season 3 of IEEE Alumni Podcast, a podcast made by students for students. This podcast will provide opportunities for students, graduates, or anyone interested in exploring various options to branch out after engineering by hearing the first hand account from the professionals themselves. Students account on what they wish they knew while starting out, the transition from a student to a working professional, insights on the need to stay updated in the job, strategies to maximize your investment in colleges, and many more. So, welcome to this journey. I'm your host, Adya Sajid. Joining with us today is an alumnus of our college, graduated in Electronics and Communication at SJC in 2019. He has also served as the chairperson of EDS in IEEE SJC and is currently working as Senior Application Engineer at Infineon Technologies. I'd like to warmly welcome the most affable Murali Ramu.
Thank you, Adya. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. It's good to be back, and it's an honor to.
Thank you. Thank you so much for taking your time out and joining with me in the Alumni podcast.
Yep.
So let's start right there. Do you mind telling the fine folks listening to the podcast a little bit about where you completed your studies, what you do for work, your passion projects, a little bit about how you are and how you present yourself to the world?
Okay. So I have been, I was born and brought up completely in Mysore. My schooling was
Okay.
in CFT High School here opposite Chalamapar, for those of you who know. Then I completed my 11th and 12th in Sadvidya Composite Pre-University College. And then obviously entered into SJC, Electronics and Communication. That journey started in 2001 and finished in 2019 from LKG to engineering. Then got hired through campus placements at Cypress Semiconductors, which was later taken over by Infineon Technologies. That happened in probably 2021. Now I am
Mhm.
working there as a senior applications engineer. Also, Cypress had a work integrated program where you could start your master's off. So that is one thing that I'm doing there. So that is about my uh, studies and work. Then you asked me about my passion projects, right? So yep, during my engineering, uh, like what my third year and fourth year was probably spent throughout working for IEEE. So whatever IEEE demanded, say whatever workshops or whatever stuff that needed. So basically like the bots or the boards or whatever it is that we did there, that those took out my majority of my time went there. So basically application level projects. Now along with doing my masters, design level stuff as in chip design, those kind of stuff interest me now.
Okay. So, did you always want to pursue engineering? Was that clear in your mind?
Yep. Okay. I always I knew that, okay, probably in fourth standard or fifth standard, right when, biology got introduced, I was sure that, okay, biology is not for me. So thing was
Okay.
either it was computers or electronics. And in my 11th, I wasn't like sure about whether it was electronics. So probably my parents told me, oh, why don't you try out electronics? So I went there. And I remember most of the people here, for their 11th and 12th, we go to tuitions. So in my tuition,
Mhm.
one of my, sirs, we had an introduction class to electronics, and the way he introduced us to electronics, that was when I knew, okay, this is what I want to be doing. And I was sure that, okay, I am probably not going out of my source. So, and I knew that, okay, at the moment, and probably even now, SJC has
Okay,
the
so
best electronics study.
that was fixed in your mind that at least for like
Yes,
graduation you'd be in Mysore.
yes,
Like
yes.
you knew that.
Yep,
Okay.
I prepared only for CET, no IIT or whatever. I knew that,
Okay.
okay, I will get into SJCEC. So prepared whatever that is needed there. Got into SJCEC. Till that
Okay.
it
So
was
education
fixed.
was a clear option.
Yep. SJC, or that was my first option. Second was NIE. So
Hmm.
that I did.
Like
That
they say,
was how that happened.
it's not the subject, it's about who teaches the subject is what makes you fall in love with it.
Exactly, exactly. I second that because now, even now, the class is in front of my eyes. Like the way he introduced us, that was really mind blowing. And yeah, that's how it started.
So speaking of which, what are your initial memories of joining SJC? Like, because it's like a whole new dynamic in a student's life, right? Except from PU to then college.
Okay. First of all, 11th and 12th, most of the time it was in studying for your boards or competitive exams and everything. So that went away. And as you probably, when seeing in movies or something, you think that okay, college is fun and everything. So college started. This is actually a funny story that happened. JC classes started at 7:30 in the morning, right? So I remember we had a CS class, and 7:30 morning classes, people don't turn up on time. So I usually sit in the last bench. So I was sitting in the last bench. One of my close friends, whom I knew from past 2 3 years, came to the class late, and he came in a way where it attracted people's attention, and the sir was teaching. So even he saw him. That guy made a fuss and came and sat next to me, and I was like, okay, he sat to me. Okay, I said hi, bye. Then sir turned up and saw the sir. He suddenly told me, okay, get your bag and come here. I'm like, why? Okay, why he's calling me? I took my bag and went there. He told me, go to Mailari and have a masala dosa and come. So my first thought that I came is, why is he asking me to go all the way to Nazarbad to get a masala dosa? Because that was the Mailari I know, and I did not know
Yeah.
that our campus had a Mailari. So then I did not answer, sir, why I asked him. So I told me, go to the class. So that was my first memory of SJC. Then things started. I got to know the teachers, then my classmates and everything. That was it. Yeah, that is my first memory of SJC.
So, Murali, what has been the key role that IEEE had to play in shaping your personality and skills as an individual?
If I have to, say it in one line, right? The reason I got placed in Cyprus Semiconductor was because of all the work that I probably did in IEEE. Whatever you do in your theory subjects, right? You probably
Yeah.
end up gaining a theoretical knowledge, and whatever the lab work that you end up doing, you do it
Hmm.
because you probably want to show that to your faculty or whoever that is there. You want to show them some output. Okay, be done with the lab and go have some fun or something. But when
Hmm.
you are involved in IEEE, first year was obviously I was a participant, then second year volunteer, third and fourth year were in the exicom and teaching or whatever. So when you're involved doing that, right? Say for example, you want to teach someone something, you end up preparing. You actually have to prepare more than what you have to do if you're the one who is giving the exam or something.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
all those preparations, I feel, in some way help me, learn more, get better, and obviously all the people interactions that I had, say teaching say 100 people in a room, and all those things really helped me. And when I came into a job, right, it felt normal, probably because of that.
What were the challenges that you had to face while being the chairperson of EDS?
Chairperson, I mean, obviously the getting the first things first, getting the workshops done. Like
Hmm.
the other team, say for example, the main execom or whoever other people, say treasurer, secretary, or whoever marketing, they get the people to the workshop, right? Say you have a target audience, say 100 or 150 people, depending on what your target is and who it is. They get to the people, and the first thing, me and my subordinate, when we started in EDS, the first workshop that we did was Vacation Project Mania. I still remember the word, the statement, but that my senior told, you know, you get 100 people to the workshop at the beginning. If there are 80 people at the end of your workshop, then you know that you did a good job. Because if it's a week long workshop and people fade out at the end, that is a clear sign that okay, you did not probably do a good job. So that was how we went about our job, and that was the most challenging stuff. Other than that, internal, I wouldn't call it disputes, a change of opinions, clash of opinions, navigating them through without projecting it to the external world. Those things made it. I mean, they obviously help you grow as a person, but yeah, those were the challenges.
Okay. So a career is very big and very confusing decision to make for most of the students, right? Like after BTech, there's a lot of engineering students having no idea about what to do next. Parents and relatives are constantly telling to do either MBA or MTech, and some friends are preparing for MS abroad. Some have gotten a huge package in XYZ company. So this is like the common story which is happening in your everyday life, like around you, isn't it? So
Mm.
while choosing a career, the problem is not like there are different people giving different opinion or advices. The main problem is that students have no clue about what they want to do next or what are the options available. So what was it with respect to you? Were placements always in your mind?
Okay, with respect to me, placements
Yeah.
were never my end goal. Like when I
Right.
joined in
Yeah.
my first or second year, when I got
Mm-hmm.
introduced to electronics, my thing. All I used to say to my friends, okay, third year, after third year, I'll write my GRE,
Yeah.
go to my MS, and that was my initial plan. But
Okay.
MS, when you're doing it, later I got to know that, okay, if you have your internships and everything, your
Mm-hmm.
statement of purpose and your profile looks good, and that will help you getting a good seat. So then I was like, okay, let me try to get an internship, which will help me when I go to masters. So that is when, okay, this company started coming up, and I thought that, okay, let me go try for an internship. If I get it, fine. If I don't, then Cyprus came in, gave me an offer saying that, okay, we'll give you an internship plus a full time, plus
Mm-hmm.
said that, okay, we have a master's program with IIT Madras. I'm like,
Oh,
okay, you
so
have
they
why?
disclosed it to you beforehand itself, like
Yes,
while giving you an interview.
when the companies come for placements, they give a orientation saying that what the company is, what the job role is, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
one of the persons from Cyprus told that, okay, we offer this, and we offer an MTech at IIT Madras. So I'm like,
Okay.
okay, well, I'm getting it here itself. I struggle and go to US and
Mm-hmm.
everything when I can finish it. So yeah, that's how I got into placements and got the job there.
So the entire experience of how the placement took place was through your internship. That became a full time. They
No,
converted.
no. When the interviews was done, we were off. I was offered internship as well as a full time offer. It was
Okay.
not an internship based conversion.
Okay. So I mean, how was the whole aura like when you entered? Like when the whole like, okay, this is the time you need to give your interview. Were you like scared or skeptical about technical round and HR round?
Yes, okay.
Or,
My first round of interview, since Cypress being a core company, obviously electronics was focus, and they started giving me questions. I started
Mhm.
drawing circuits, trying to get outputs, and basically what they wanted to see is how I approach the problem. They did not care
Mhm.
whether I got the output or not. I mean, I might have gotten few correct. I am not sure. I did not ask them later, but it was so nervous, and by the end, I had gotten so nervous that the last question they had asked me to write was a bubble sort. I screwed
Okay.
up writing the bubble sort. Probably the interviewers figured out that, okay, this is wrong, and asked me to trace the program. So I started tracing out the code. When I started tracing out the code, okay, I figured out that this is wrong. Then I debugged it in front of them and said that, okay, that was wrong. This is right. Probably that
Hmm.
impressed them. I'm not sure. They selected me to the second round, and second round I was pretty confident, and it went through like a breeze.
Okay. So, like you said, like you had in your mind that, okay, GRE, that's what I'm going to do. But
Mm.
eventually you just stumbled upon placements. So,
Yep.
what was the kind of preparations that you had to do when you knew that, okay, let me just give this a shot or something like that? Like, did you like stick to the curriculum given or did you want to
Okay.
go? Hmm.
Uh, this thing, probably whoever is in third year or in the fourth year, probably what happens is after your sixth sem, there's a
Mm-hmm.
person called RK Swami. Probably everyone goes there to your placement training, else even our college also offers it. So even like just like everyone, even I was like, okay, let me go learn, see what happens. I went to that placement training. I used to go to the class, listen to whatever he teaches. Basically, he taught some C programming and some basics of C++. I was like, okay, let me learn that. In the college offered aptitude training, but I did not attend that. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so the first company that came was Cisco. I was like, okay,
Okay.
they offered only an internship. So I was like, okay, suits perfectly for me. I'll just get an internship and go for a master's. I went,
Mm-hmm.
gave the written test and everything, got selected for the interview. My interviews and everything were done, but I did not get through there. Probably screwed up my HR round there. Uh, Even though my technicals went through fine. Then
Mm-hmm.
the next company came was Cyprus. The thing is, my senior, who my very close friend was already in Cyprus. So he told me that, okay, Cyprus is coming. If you want, and he knew that my plan. So he was like, if you want an internship, prepare. I was like, the test was on Sunday. I got to know that Cyprus is coming on Wednesday night. So I was like, okay, let me lay out everything else, study for these 3 days. If I get through, else forget it. Let me go do my GRE. I studied for those 3 days, like my basics, whatever, analog, digital,
Mm-hmm.
and probably op amps too. I
Okay.
did some of my basics there, then gave my written test. Somehow got selected to the second interview round, and I got placed.
Okay. So, how
I mean,
is what?
just to say that this is not the thing that you have to follow. Okay, if you are into placements, you should sit. Basically, I knew my friends, right? They used to sit from day to night and study for placements because that was their end goal. Mine, this was a second option for me. So I did that, and I probably, that's one more thing where IEEE probably helped me. Doing all those workshops probably
You were
had an impact on
constantly
me where I
updated.
did not need to prepare that much also.
Correct. Yeah.
So maybe that too.
Hmm. How did your first day of work look like?
First day of work was like a child in Candyland. Like everywhere I went, there were CROs, there were waveforms, people were looking at circuits. I was like, okay, yeah, this is where I belong, and it was very exciting to be there. And
Like,
they had all these decorations and everything for to welcome the interns.
okay.
It was pretty fun there. Yep.
So your internship, you had like these hand-on experience with respect to all the technical things, not like the theory-based anything. No, it's you. So you had an idea. It was not like, was it completely different from what you've done like during your internship period? Was it like a
Meaning,
complete
if
change
my
or
internship was totally different from what I studied, is that the question?
no, no, from your internship and then you get
Hmm.
into the job? Was there like
Hmm.
any shift in that, or was it like
No, no.
okay, it's a continuation of it?
It was a continuation. The way Cyprus
You
or
were comfortable.
Infineon does it, yep,
Yeah.
they put you to a team in internship where you will do the full time itself. They won't change that. So that is the way
Hmm.
this company works, at least.
Right. So, Murli, could you please tell us some more about what field you're doing your MTech in, and what are their perspectives in future?
Okay, I am actually pursuing my master's in integrated circuits and systems. Uh, I took this up because I wanted to pursue a career in design. So
Mhm.
prospects would probably be, to just give an example, the latest chipsets, Qualcomm Snapdragon or Apple A15 or whatever chipsets that they come up with, the internal chipsets, right? That is
Mhm.
where this course, if you're interested in pure hardcore design, say probably if you guys have a VLSI course, probably you would do some routing and placing of chip semiconductors and everything. That is what this how they behave and everything. That is what the MTech course is that I'm doing.
Right. So,
So
is there like
essentially,
a
if you're
constant?
interested in design, like hardcore design of chips, yeah,
Mhm.
yep, this is the thing to do.
Okay. So, is there like a constant engagement with the peer group in IIT? Like,
No, okay. Since the thing is, what the course that I am doing, right? It's a work integrated program. So essentially, it's like you don't go to the campus, but
mhm.
whatever you do, I mean, the course that you do is exactly the same thing that you do on campus. So since you're not going on campus and it's a work integrated program, like the peers in IIT, like the students or whoever it is, you don't have that much of connection there. But the faculty will be the same. You could probably interact with the
Mhm.
faculty. But since
Okay.
I'm doing it in the company, right? I mean,
Yeah.
whatever peers or whoever I need to talk to, I have the industry experience itself to talk to. So
Hmm.
that is my peer engagement.
Okay. So, but pursuing MTech in IIT Madras whilst doing a job sounds like a packed schedule. How do you manage time working as well as simultaneously studying?
Okay. Uh, the lucky thing that happened to me is I started my MTech during Corona. So 2020, so stuck at home, had plenty of time to spare, finished off majority of my MTech while sitting at home. So I mean, initially it was
Mhm.
definitely hard doing your day job, still
Yeah.
new, relatively new in the company, trying to figure out
Mhm.
stuff. So
Yeah.
doing the day job in the morning and evenings and your nights, sit and study. I mean, it's the same thing what you do in SJC, or you sit the night behind the assignments and finish it. Same thing we also used to do here, probably 2 or 3 nights before, since they used to be relatively harder.
Yeah.
Uh, After some time, you get used to it. That's all.
Okay. How much role did doing mini projects get you an exposure?
Mini projects, if you ask me, are the most important thing of your course. I know that there are 5 events in SJC, and every student in SJC complains about it. I know that because it will become too hectic, and 3 interests plus 2 events probably is two this thing. But those 2 events that you do, whether it might be a mini project or a seminar or whatever it is, that is what builds your resume. Because I myself have interviewed candidates out of college. Like when you look at their resumes, you think that, okay, what is this, what do I ask him? Like if you have content
Hmm.
in your resume, it's like you're guiding them to, okay, ask me this, I know this, I've done this. So that would be a good starting point, and the interviewer would probably know that, okay, this guy has done something. because most colleges don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
When even when you ask them the basic of questions, they will not be in a position to answer. But since we have do all these projects, you probably are better placed than most of the students. But that's what, when you do it wholeheartedly. That is all that I think. Because mini projects
Hmm.
are very very important. That you do, especially your final year project or 6 sem project or whatever project that is, do it well. Even if you are
So,
trying to turn on an LED,
mhm.
understand how the LED turning on, switching on works perfectly fine.
Mhm.
That is what you have to do.
Most of the people have been asking about how to draft a resume well. That's like a big question, because most of them, like let's say you're a fresher starting off, and then you're like,
Mm.
okay, maybe I really don't have anything to present in the resume. Like, what am I supposed to? What are the keywords, or like how do I present myself to the company?
Most important point: don't lie in your resume. If put in the resume, say I know group projects, how group projects work in the college. Okay, one person or two people do it, rest two does the report, or something happens. Even if you just did the report, understand what happened, and like learn what happened. Because if you put a project in your resume and
Mhm.
you start getting questioned and you're not even in a position to answer them, that's a big red flag for the interviewer. Because you understand that, okay, this person is saying that he did something, but he does not know what he did. That's a big red flag.
Mhm.
So even if you didn't do anything and don't know anything, whatever the basic C++, say that, okay, I learned C++, I know this, I did this programming in your resume. Con- and content is king. Don't worry about formatting, designing, everything comes at the end. Focus on the content. Like, be honest, put it in the right words. Right, I mean, right words. You probably, I mean, you guys are good at that, like framing sentences with reports. Doing reports, you get there. Do the same
Mhm.
thing. Don't lie on your resume. That's all.
So, what are your suggestions for students opting for software jobs than their own branch's core company, owing to the fact that they have better pay packages?
Advice as in people who opt for software companies rather than core companies.
Yeah, software, because of like, yeah, they give like higher pay package. What would you do? Like, are you the person who would look for the pay package, or who would, what would you suggest? Like, look at the pay package, or like your role in the company. Based on that, you can assess.
That ultimately depends on the person. Say some people are like, okay, I'm getting paid, I don't care what I do, as
Hmm.
long as I'm doing something, say some coding or something. Some people don't care. Like, if you're getting 2 lakhs per month, why will you care? Some people don't mind that. Few people think that,
Hmm.
okay, even if I get paid less, I need to be doing what I like. I'm the second thing. That's why probably, semiconductors might not pay as big as, Apple or Amazon or
Hmm.
something, but you get that satisfaction. That also I feel plays a big part in your this thing. But I mean, in college placements you might not have that option, because you're ultimately looking to get a job.
True.
So in college placements, what I would suggest is prepare for both. If placement is your ultimate goal, prepare for everything irrespective, but aim for what you want to do, but be prepared for getting into a role that you might not like also, because placement is your ultimate goal.
Correct. So, it's very important to keep yourself updated with like the latest and ever evolving technologies, no matter whatever domain you're working in, so that you keep up the quality in your services.
Hmm.
What are the insights that you have that Infineon would be looking for while recruiting freshers? Like, is there a change? Because with time, technology and the skills demand also changes, right?
Agreed. Technology, knowing the latest stuff and everything does definitely go a long way. But I would say be strong in your basics. Like,
Hmm.
if someone, say for example, you might know how some big chipset or something, say you give a 5 volt input, it gives a 3.3 volt output. Let's say you have a level shifter, you give a 5 volt input, it gives you a 3.3 volt output. That everyone, even 11th or 12th standard kid can say. You are an engineer
Hmm.
because you understand how that 5 volt is getting converted to 3.3 volt. So that understanding that part is what makes you an engineer, and is what is your unique selling proposition. That is where your basics come in. So once you're thorough with your basics, you are free to explore the world. I mean, that is the same thing that happens even in my masters. The professors that teach here, right, they go deep into the basics, teach you this is okay, this is how this works, this is how, if you do this, this happens. But and then give you assignments to figure out all the complicated stuff, because with your basics strong, you will figure out all the complicated stuff later. That is what I would personally say to anyone who, is looking to learn new technologies. Be good with your basics, then go to the new ones.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Is there like a
Yeah,
network issue, I guess?
no
Yeah.
problem.
So what are like now let's say there are like so many students confused that from which semester should I begin the preparations for placements. So
Okay.
what do you think they should know?
Mm, okay. It's not like your 6 sem is done. Say ideally, I mean in our time at least, place 6 sem used to be done sometime in May, and the placements used to start during June ending or July first or second week or so on. So most of them would be like, okay, May
Mhm.
I need to start preparing for placements and like put in full time 24 hours a
True.
day work and everything. I mean, you can ace that also. But
Mhm.
what I would personally suggest is whenever you're learning something, right, learn it properly, right from your first sem or second
Mhm.
sem, whatever it is. Keep doing it and understand what you're doing. Because if you do that right from the beginning, at the end, you don't need to struggle, say, putting 24 hours a day. That if you understand
Correct.
the, again, this again comes back to the basic line that I was talking about. That is where you're learning the basics, and no, there is no way you could mug up your complete basics in just 1 month.
True.
If it is
Yeah.
software that you're looking at, C++ is probably the most core thing that anyone looks at for college students. Learn your C,
Mm.
C++ properly right from the beginning. Don't push it off till your placement 6 months. That you can polish off your skills in that 1 month time. But
Mhm.
whenever you do it, keep in touch. Try to do something. Learn. That is how you probably ideal way of doing it.
Okay. What is your take on setting goals? It could be like short-term goals or long-term goals. Were you like somebody who set goals, or you just like just took it with the flow?
Till engineering, as I said in the beginning, it was okay. I need to get into JCEC. After engineering, I had absolutely no idea what I will be doing, because even my masters, I was not sure what I want to do.
Right.
So
Yeah.
from my placements, it has been more of a take go on with the flow. Now with my masters,
Mhm.
I'm like getting back to figuring out, okay, this is where I want to be at this point of time. It is probably a mix of both again. If you are like, okay, I know some of my friends who is
Mhm.
probably doing masters and doctorates. They were like, okay, after engineering, I need to go do this. If you are that kind of person, if you know what you want to do, go do it. No one's stopping you.
Right, because it's very hard to like stick to the plan most often, right? You get so deviated, and then you end up doing everything else apart from what you have like decided. So
That
yeah.
happened to me also. Like I was talking about this, right, from May
Mhm.
to July. July is when our
Yeah.
placement started. May is when my exams ended. The June month, I was okay. As I told, I was looking at GRE as my primary thing, but
Mhm.
placement, I needed some kind of internship. So what I had plus, I this thing we used to do a 2 week workshop during vacations as part of this IEEE, the Vacation Project Mania. So at
Mhm.
one point, I did not know which to prioritize. So I started doing all three at once. For probably to one
Oh.
month, I did all three together and ended up doing nothing properly.
Hmm.
So if you feel that you have to do everything, go ahead, do it. That will ultimately, let you know. Okay, when you feel too hectic that whatever it is that you're doing, then your
Hmm.
options kind of narrow down. At least that is what I feel. When it got too
Hmm.
hectic, I was like, okay, this I'll do this 3 days for this placement. If it goes, I'll figure that out my GRE and then figure things out.
Yeah. I mean, weren't you like, didn't you have like this hunch of getting a little, I don't know, off when you see like your batchmates and all getting placed, and still like you like, okay, probably higher studies, then what? Like, I don't have an end point. Everyone else has figured out everything.
Again, I was lucky there. I was probably the first few to get placed in my class.
No, I mean
Probably.
when you decided, okay, okay, I'll take
Hmm?
GRE.
Hmm?
Were you mentally prepared for
Yeah, I was prepared.
the
Like I knew that okay, I want to do it. I had even, for as a matter of fact, I had even gone to GRE classes.
okay,
And before my placement, I had even booked my GRE exam. I
okay,
had booked
right.
the GRE exam 1 month before I got placed, and they ended up not studying for the GRE exam and just giving it.
Hmm, right. Okay. So it's now time for the rapid fire round. So, okay, so let me ask you, what are the three movies you recommend to the audience and why?
Three movies. Okay. KGF
Right.
tells you how about Kannada movies. Then Avengers Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
Avengers Endgame. If you are to understand what is the significance of what is happening in Endgame, you have to see the previous all the phase one, phase two, phase three movies. So
Okay.
again, so if you see, and that will probably go back there.
Hmm.
Then third movie, uh, probably Gandhadagudi.
Right. Okay. So, what's the best moment that you can recall that you had in IEEE? One, if you
Okay,
were to choose one.
I'll choose this. Probably this. I mean, this has same thing happened twice or thrice. Once during, like, say 2017 December or something, after my fifth sem, me and my family had gone to vacation somewhere in, like, I mean, we had gone to vacation in Malaysia.
Okay.
So we were at a place there. Someone from somewhere comes up, says that, "Hi Murali Anna, how are you? ಹೇಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ?" I'm like,
Okay.
"Okay, hi, who are you?" He was like, "Okay, I was in your classes. You taught well. I understood this and this."
Okay.
That probably happens even now. Like yesterday or few weeks back, I was coming through a railway station. Someone called down my name somewhere, saying that, "Okay, I was there. I understood that networking because you thought that." That is probably the best thing that happened. Like out of
That's
nowhere, people recognize you and say
yeah.
that there's nothing better than that.
Who was your favorite professor?
Favorite professor. Okay, in terms of teaching,
Yeah. In terms of
elect.
anything, whatever, like personality also you can take it as like
Okay, I'll say this in terms of teaching. Probably UBM in EC. I like
okay.
the way he introduced us to analog electronics and op amps. Then even
Mm-hmm.
SPR. Then civil, there was a sir called K Prakash. He was
Okay.
the HOD back then. His
Mm-hmm.
teaching was also, I loved it a lot. The closest, like the one, my final year guide YST, he's probably like a friend to me. These are the four games if I had to take.
Right. Because usually, look, well, now let's say you have like you're like bitter with a professor, and then you'll have to like be with them for like the entire semester, need to get things done. How
But
do you manage that?
fortunately, I never faced that situation.
Okay, that's good.
So I had friends who faced that situation, but I never faced it. So
Okay. So, wow, are you like an early bird or a night owl?
early bird. If I have to study, I have to
Yeah.
like get up in the morning, because if I stay late night till 2 or 3 in the night, next
Mm-hmm.
2 days I won't be able to do anything properly. I have to
Oh.
recover that sleep that I lost. So definitely an early bird.
Hmm. So, were you a 100% attendance student or a meh, 75 is enough attendance student?
I was a 1995 student. 1995%. Huh?
Okay. So, you should not miss any classes.
Okay, okay, for IEEE, if there was an IEEE event, I used to
Okay.
bunk because I needed a reason to go out.
Hmm.
And everyone used to sit in the class. I'm like, okay, what will I go out doing alone? Let everyone are there. Let me sit there. I should not. Okay, let me stop there. Let me not go into the details.
Yeah. Who's your favorite YouTube vlogger?
YouTube blogger. Uh, Let me think. Uh, For traveling, probably Karanet. There's a page called YouTubers called Karanet. Their goal
Okay.
started out as say we want to travel 100 countries, and they do give out a lot of tips on how to get cheaper airfares,
Okay.
cheaper stays, and everything. So in terms of travel, them yes. For
So you
electronics,
like
electronic.
traveling. Oh, okay. So you like traveling. I mean, that's one of your passion.
Yes, I like traveling. I mean, I like traveling as in I love driving there. I love
Okay.
driving cars and bikes. So
Mhm.
that part I that is why I love traveling.
Which was your favorite place on campus?
Favorite place on campus? Nescafe.
It's closed now.
Sad.
Sad.
Nescafe
Yeah.
was yes.
And
Even
what
now,
do
if we
you?
come to college, we probably go
Mhm.
sit in the steps for some time and then go back. If
No.
I am with my friends, so yes,
Right. What do you miss the most about this college?
the friends. You without knowing it, you spend 4 years with them, like seeing them day in and day out. But once your college is done, right, you
Mm-hmm.
hardly meet them once or once in a year or once in 2 years. Plus, even those meets would probably last for what, a lunch or a dinner or casual meetup something. That is
True.
probably the thing that I cherish the most, the friends that I made in SJC, and
Mm-hmm.
probably the ones that I miss the most too.
That's nice. Do you think that work-life balance is a myth?
Work life balance is, it is not a myth, but
Okay.
I feel some people give too much emphasis on it. I mean,
Mm.
it might be because of the company culture. In my company, under my manager, I never felt that, okay, I need to put so much emphasis on it, because he was like, okay, when you need time off, you can take time off. When you feel like working, you work. He was like, okay, as long as the work is done, it's fine for me. For
Mm.
people whose managers are might not be that flexible and force them to, you know, work so many hours or put pressure on them, this definitely holds significance. But I never felt that it was being compromised or anything.
Okay, so with this, we come to the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your story and thoughts with the listeners.
Thank you, Adya. It was very good to be back, and hopefully I gave some insights and did not, discourage or anything for other
No,
students.
not at all.
Probably, hopefully.
So, thank you so much for tuning into the show and listening all the way till the end. We'll be back with yet another episode with another alluring guest. But until then, remember, you've got the power to create a better college experience. You just have to get out there and take your first step.